mean, right now is a golden age for geeks. It's a golden age for fantasy.
High fantasy is a culture and an art that is got a language all of itself.
I read a lot of fantasy in my job as an analyst of stories, and I see many of the same patterns repeated.
It's got swords and sandals, and it's got a wizard with a long beard.
Shields and breastplates and...
weird monsters, bad hairdos, like in impossible fashion.
It seems like a very cool world, and there's a lot of English people in there as well, which is always fun, because I tend to play games that are full of Americans.
The world of Albion is a mixture of a kind of European and British sensibility with the Brothers Grimm twist.
Albion's sort of a lush, beautiful, verdant fairy tale world, very, very diverse. Sort of a Renaissance world, really.
There's just so much to explore within the world, and if you haven't looked at a video game for 10 years, you're kind of dropped into this, and you're like, whoa.
Towns have their own rhythm to them. There's a life and sort of like a vibe to them.
The world has to be made believable by putting into it the things that we all experience.
You're exploring these cities and you run into characters that you would expect to run into in these places, like you know, the blacksmith, the traveling salesman, the town drunk having a conversation with this woman who's trying to get him to clean up his act.
No, don't fall off the wagon.
Wagon? Where? Kids, look out for the wagon!
One of the nice things about the game is that they have scripted so much dialogue and that you don't hear the same thing every time you pass a character.
I wouldn't normally say this, but those shoes are awful.
In terms of dialogue alone, I think we've got about 38 hours of recorded dialogue, which is around, well, probably more than 2 seasons of Galactica alone.
Each character has their own life, and you feel like you're interacting with other players who have their own goals, although they're actually just the computer.
Thank you for bringing Charlie back, brave, gallant adventurer.
I'm an adventurer, Gran, and my name is Charles. Charles!
We try to really make it that these people are alive and they have opinions and thoughts and feelings and loves.
You can get people to fall in love with you if you're funny or if you're sweet to them, but if you see that they're kinky, you can make them to fall in love with you by just slapping them around.
Ooh, exciting!
Obviously, as human beings, we tend to want to procreate. And I think in a game, you'd probably want to do the same thing.
I consumed a whole bucket of oysters specially for this occasion, Buttercup.
You can become an adulteress and do a Scarlet Letter number. You can do a big love and become a polygamist.
I love the fact that you can be a polygamist in this video game, and you can have group sex.
You dirty beggar! I like how you think.
You can go, you know, have an orgy with your buddies.
Who doesn't like a good simulated orgy?
You really know how to command respect, don't you?
Fun choices, and maybe something that I would like to explore. On video, anyway. In the game.
But the sex translates to a much farther degree. It affects everything you do in the game. But there is no Basic Instinct dagger sex, which kind of annoys me.
You can have a family, essentially. So you can woo any woman or man in any town, get married to them, move into a house, and then have babies.
I started one family in one town and another family in another town because I thought, you know, what happens in one town stays in one town. Turns out that wasn't quite so, and both of them divorced me.
Don't expect your spouse to be that sympathetic about you going off and venturing for 6 months and leaving them penniless.
There are these characters that depend on you. And once they depend on you for companionship and you lose them, there's a sense of loss.
There's consequences of choices that you make, like flirting, and then consummating that flirt, and then not wearing a condom, which is probably made of sheepskin.
Depending on what you do as a player and how you interact with Albion citizens, they will react differently to you the next time you see them.
I don't like people who try to kill people.
The hero affects the world in every possible way.
Because you want to be good, but it's so much more fun to be evil.
I have gone on a murderous spree, occasionally, regrettably.
The most evil thing I've done in Fable 2 is probably kill an entire village. I think for some I just shot them, and for others I just slammed them with a club. Yeah, it was very rewarding. Essentially, my hero became a lot more renowned.
We measure fame in Fable 2 in terms of renown.
It's natural to look to heroes because the whole society has sort of raised them up as models, as examples.
What you become known for are your deeds and kind of your actions.
You can do the usual things, you know, going out slaying great beasts and those sorts of works of heroic daring do.
You could pay the local bard to sing songs about you, although he might not sing what you want him to sing.
The hero did forge a path to the land where no one has a bath.
Bravely brave Sir Robin, with his eyes cut out and his ears cut off and his nose cut off and his Alright, that's enough, boys.
It is really one of the funniest games I've played in ages.
Starts off a really beautiful world, and then all of a sudden a bird craps on you.
Oh, yuck.
You could walk into a situation and there's a high drama moment going on. People are dying and you're dressed in a checking suit and everybody's laughing at you while there's terrible scenes going on.
You can wander up to any character in Fable 2 and do the fart expression.
Confusing.
Thank you very much.
And some people find that incredibly funny. Some people find that faintly disgusting.
Made a right mess of that.
You can't go wrong with a good fart joke as far as I'm concerned. It's all good, wholesome, clean family fun in the world of Albion.
The whole point of it is to allow people to express themselves in a game. They're actually living an alternative life in this world. And the more stuff you give people where they can express themselves, the more emotionally engaged they feel with that world.
You know, I wouldn't go as far as to say Fable 2 is a morbidly obese game. I would say it's a big, great big fatty of an epic adventure.